Okay, AI, asshole, Illustrator. So, for those people that can't draw and don't have a brain for their own, you can use this app, this software, and you can steal a little bit of Bob's, a little bit of Franco's, and a little bit of Mary's, and you spin it all in a pot, you cook it up, he eats it, and then he shits out a combination of those three people. So you can have your own art in full colour for you to tell all your friends that you did it. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that amazing? So, if you're an artist that couldn't draw their ass with a mirror, AI is for you. But if you do want to learn how to draw and you enjoy being weird and you enjoy taking hours to do a drawing, pop over to my channel on YouTube, Kieron Seamons. See you there. Well, hello and welcome back. I have been asked many times about the subject of AI, and it is a very difficult subject to debate, because there is a lot of good that AI brings, and there's a lot of negative that AI brings. And for me at the moment, I'm kind of seeing it more of a kind of league of thieves, if you see what I mean. It's kind of like, I feel at the moment it doesn't really have its own character, if you wish. It's kind of like stealing from Shakespeare. It's stealing from Van Gogh. It's stealing from Michelangelo. It's stealing from the greats to help the people that can't do even a percentage of. It's taking the people that have no ability to a higher level. If that's unfair, I apologize. But it's I just see it's like stealing, making, stealing, making. And this whole open process that it's going through about, for example, recently it's the Studio Ghibli, the Japanese animation, where they are taking a picture of you and they're making it into his style. And it's like, yeah, okay, it's fun, but stop there. Don't start getting into products. Don't start getting into selling of artwork in that style, because I feel that's theft. In my mind, that's pure theft. So very difficult to debate. So I should get into a drawing. And I'm just going to start off with a shape today, because I've got a kind of an idea in mind. You see, the thing is that as an artist, I've grown up with artists all my life. I've grown up with, my father was an artist, and I went to studios where I met great artists, and those great artists inspired me to be better. And they still do, you know. I still see artists that I am hugely inspired by, that make me want to draw. They don't want me to just directly copy a style or copy a whatever, but they do inspire me to be better at what I do. And I feel that AI, in a way, is teaching us to be lazy. It's teaching us to be... It's teaching us to just kind of You know, it's like me saying I really want to be an oil painter, but the guy down the end of the street, he's an oil painter. So I go to him and I say, look, I've got this idea of this sheep on a hill, and there's a farmer on the side. Could you paint it for me? 2 weeks later, I go, and he's painted this beautiful picture, and I come back and I say, here you go, I've painted this picture. I told him what to do. I told him I wanted a sheep. I told him I wanted a farmer. I told him I wanted a cloudy, moody day. So I put my name on it. That's mine. In the same kind of ridiculous way. And it frustrates me a lot. It does frustrate me a lot that we are kind of getting into that. We're getting into that situation of taking this as the norm. We are taking this as our own creation. Now, you know, inspiration is a very, very, very different subject, you know. I'm sure that, you know, Michelangelo has inspired 1 million people, and Da Vinci has inspired 1 million people. You know, in the same way that, you know, Ronald Searle and such have inspired me to draw. Inspired me to draw better and better. And I'm going to draw lots of images falling into these horns. And that is a beautiful thing to be inspired by, you know. In the same way that, you know, as a young man, I was highly inspired, highly driven by Disney and every other cartoon artist, every piece of animation, Hanna-Barbera and all those amazing, great things. They massively inspired me. And that inspiration made me want to... Let me just change that pen for a different... I want to try and get some colour in there also. It inspired me in a way to kind of... to want to be an animator, to want to be a great... You know? And by them working with... for a lot of those studios, it also then inspired me to be as good as Jack, to be as good as Marco, to be as good as Bill, you know, as good as Sally, you know. And that really kind of inspired my whole life, this kind of want to be better, want to be a great. And I'm still learning, I'm still working my way up. And I hope that when I'm 99 or 10,000 years old, I'm still wanting to be better, wanting to be better, like that guy and that guy and that woman and that woman, you know. I do hope that is the way that my life continues. But this thievery that is happening at the moment, I really don't like. And I think this whole Ghibli thing has really pushed me over the edge. You know, it really has just seen how people are blindly jumping into it, jumping in to a very negative. And that I wish people would be a little bit more sensitive about it, you know. There will be a time when this kind of AI will get to a point where it just makes us dumber. You know, it makes us less creative, it makes us lazy, it makes us all those terrible words. And I don't understand quite why it's not seen as a negative. I don't quite understand why people are jumping on it so, you know. And please see that this is not like the age of digital or the age of computers or, you know, when digital art came along, you know, a lot of people worried about it and they kind of put it into a different category. And the same way that all of those certain softwares kind of made people afraid, but at the same time, you had to put enough of you into it to bring it to a higher level. At the moment, I'm seeing so much incredible art and animation and it's all done by the computer. It is not done by a singular person. So the Studio Ghibli thing recently has really shown me that people are getting quite blinded by it. Yeah. And this, I hate to say stupidity, but this thought that it is your art, that you have somehow created it. You know, they started to get to this kind of level where they're beginning to take artists, take actors, take anything, and I can see why people are getting very worried about it. I can see why actors are beginning to think, well, you could make a character that looks just like me, so you don't need actors anymore. You know, in the same way that artists are starting to think, well, and you know, artists will start to think, well, that's what I do. Some of the storyboard work that I used to get now is all done with AI. You know, you got this kind of feeling that AI is kind of like a greedy beast almost, you know. It's like it wants to be an actor, it wants to be a singer. And while I see it all as quite incredible, I also see it as a tool that we will eventually get bored of. You know, I want to make a song like Bob Marley and I want Bob Marley to sing it. Well, that's not me. That's the computer stealing Bob Marley and reworking my song about how to put your socks on. And it's a Bob Marley song about putting your socks on by me. Well, you know. And I do kind of worry about the whole. But I do think there's enough artists out there that see the enjoyment of art goes beyond the production of. For me to do this drawing today is an incredible feeling. I love it. I love that whole feeling of being in control of my own thoughts. I mean, even to the point of what would I even ask AI to do for this drawing? AI, draw yourself. What do you look like? It would probably draw a box or something, you know, some kind of computer. Or would it be inspired by David Bowie? I look like David Bowie. Okay, you look like David Bowie. Fine. And then what is the belief of the human then? Do we start to think like, oh, well, my AI looks like David Bowie? Really? Is that what you really think? I love to be inspired by people. I love to even see artwork that is so different that I will save an image of it just because it's like that way of painting, that way of drawing, that way of doing something is so different. I will return to it, just not to kind of copy it in any way, but just to be inspired by the whole incredible originality of it. Some of the painters that I love to follow are so original. They're so bizarre in their styling. There was a lady called something Hussein that I follow on Facebook, and her paintings, it's kind of like a small dark-skinned boy standing next to a piano. And while I think, why on earth did you paint that? What drove you? What inspired you to do that? 3 boys at a swimming pool. And I don't know why. But these paintings grab me. These paintings inspire me. These paintings just are incredible. I don't understand why I like them, but I love them. Terribly sorry for forgetting the lady's name, but if you put in Art Hussein, you might come up with some of her stuff. You will see it. It's a very, very in fact, even to the point I think she was doing paintings on paper, oil paintings on paper. And again, that thought of, oil paints on paper. Oh, that's interesting. Is she using the kind of the gesso and whatever to kind of thicken up the actual paper? What kind of paper is she using? Thick paper? What is the trick here? And that is such a beautiful thing to be inspired by somebody's thoughts. So yes, I am constantly inspired by people that I don't even know and never met, that probably live on the other side of the moon, but they inspire me. They inspire me to a point where I am mesmerized by their creativity. The same way that when I was actually getting into doing a lot of oil paintings and stuff like that, one of the things that amazed me was a lot of the Russian painters and the Slovakian painters and the subjects and the creativity was enough to make you feel massively inferior with your thoughts and your ability. And also the sheer power of gripping a viewer, gripping that artist, gripping the person who has fallen in love with that piece of art for some kind of almost like witchy way. It's like they're under some kind of spell when they look at that painting, that they've suddenly fallen in love with everything about it. And oil paintings do have that magic. They do have a kind of magical power that they suck people in. And the artwork that has been done with AI. I've seen oil paints done by AI. I've done some great images, but I can't help thinking, what part of that image was not stolen? What part of that image was an original thought? And that worries me. That worries me to the point that we are losing our creativity. We are losing our power, There's been a lot on the news recently about the pyramids also, about they found so many, like 2 miles underneath, about how all the structure, and it makes me just think, are we going backwards? Are we as a race of people? Are we going backwards? You look at Michelangelo and people like that, and you think, wow, a man can do that? A man can do that? You look at a lot of the old statues carved in marble, and it makes you think, man, woman, we are all powerful. We are powerful minds. We are powerful talents. And we are giving it away to some computer that we've built that seems to be quicker than us. And I still think not better. Quicker, but not better. And I look at a lot of the old architecture and I see all the sculptures around them, and the design of it. They were all done on paper and pencil. Paper and pen. Even back to the days when we didn't really have pens. We had feathers dipped in ink. It just makes me long for those days. It makes me long for the age of man that is inspiring. I mean, when was the last time you saw a piece of art that made you just stop? That made you look at it for hours? That just, even when you went home, it just seemed to impact your whole mind so much you couldn't stop thinking about it. Now, when I've been to the National Gallery and some of the artwork there, completely blew my mind. Now, the first time I'd seen something like a Turner. Okay, let's talk about Turner as an original person. Turner did all these paintings, and I've seen them in books. I wasn't really taken that much by it. But when I went to the gallery and I walked into a room, and there was this huge Turner painting. Oh my God. It was like somebody had sucked all the breath out of me. Wow. And he was never one of my favorites. But when I saw the original painting, how can somebody do that? You know, how? How can a human do such a piece? The same when you see a Rembrandt, or even the first time I went to see the Francis Bacon gallery. Walking in to see a Francis Bacon painting is kind of like, wow, what is it? What? You know, it seems to grab your soul somehow. And that, I feel, is being missing. I feel like it's being taken away from us almost. Okay, I'm not sure quite why I'm doing AI with breasts, but it has happened. Okay. So when was the last time? You've seen that piece of art that has really taken your breath away. And I do find a lot of art these days is kind of like afraid because of this new AI. There's a lot of incredible artists around. And I love how the modern kind of social media has opened and has shown me artists that maybe live in Bolivia or Mexico or wherever. And you think, oh, wow, that's beautiful. And I feel that is the point of art. Not that you can write it down and somebody else does it for you. It's that you feel it. You feel something when you're producing art. And those feelings, I believe, fall into your art. They become part of your art. You become part of your art. And I very, very strongly believe that. Even this portrait of AI is full of my feelings. He has claws. He has breasts to entice you. He has claws to hold on to you. He has these big floppy ears that will suck up all your information to at some point reuse, regurgitate. And that's kind of what it really is doing, is regurgitating. I mean, even to the point of music, go back to a time when music has just completely pulled you in, And I came, my big love in music kind of obviously was introduced around the 80s. And the 80s was a lot of kind of digital music and synthesizers and things, like bands like Japan and Depeche Mode and all of those very synthesized bands. And at the time everybody was saying, oh, they're going to be throwing away instruments, they're going to be throwing away guitars, and it didn't. It just was another tool. And you know, even now, Depeche Mode are still around. They're still popular. And they captured a certain passion in their music. So I'm seeing AI as a lazy form of most things. Clever, yes, okay, I'll give you that. It is clever. It is clever the way that they can, like I said, I could write a song about putting on your socks and get David Bowie to sing it. Or a voice that's very similar to David Bowie. Do you see what I mean? But I do see that we need to get back to us, the feeling of, and I do feel like the whole point of art is being forgotten about. The whole point of art is the feeling of doing something, the feeling of playing football, the feeling of playing an instrument, the feeling of dancing. How could you explain to somebody that doesn't dance about the emotions and the feelings and the passions and the excitement that you feel when you dance? It's impossible. You could explain it, but they wouldn't feel it. In the same way that if I couldn't run a marathon, could I ask AI to give me a certificate to say that I've run a 10-mile marathon? There you go, I've run a 10-mile marathon. Does that make me feel good? Does it make me feel I've achieved something? It doesn't. I'm going to draw this creature is a very enlarged stomach, whether she has or it has eaten the ideas and regurgitated the ideas, or it's kind of like a birthing process where it is kind of try and rebirth, give birth to all these ideas that it pretends to own. Haven't used a brush today, but then I guess I haven't felt the need. That's his bottom. Portrait of AI. A bizarre one, that's for sure. So, yes, feel free to play with AI, but don't feel it's raising your ability. Don't feel that it is raising your achievements. It isn't. And in my belief, it is lowering your level. It's lowering your achievements. It is tricking you. Oh, there you go. AI can't break a nib like that, can it? I was enjoying that nib. Oh, wow. The beauty of it. The feelings of it. Art is an incredible feeling for your soul. There is very few things, art is the great difference between us and animals is art. We, because of art, have raised our level through life. From all those great races of people, from all those great civilizations that have built this world. Look through all the past, look through all the great nations, driven by art, not driven by politics, not driven by war, but driven by art. And that's truly how I believe. Now, I hate to be rude, but to kind of balance off the anger of all those people that are suggesting that I have drawing a female creature, a female version of AI. I will then add a very rude section to it and say that it is now male and female. It is tricking both sides of this. Tricking both sides. It's calling both male and female to this disgusting trick of life. In the same way that some kind of devil-like creature would trick us with anything that we felt. It would trick us with money. It would trick us with whatever. giving it a few extra toes to help balance its disgusting negative soul. Well, at least that kind of that rude addition will save some of the abuse for today's drawing. Or maybe it'll add to it. Maybe it will add to it. Oh dear, dear, what have you done? And again, you know, as I always say, I don't apologize for my art. My art is how I feel at the moment, and that feeling comes out into the art. It pours out. Whether you like it or you don't like it, it is the truth of today, the truth of how I'm feeling today. If I'm drawing a happy cat or a disgusting portrait of AI, this is what happens. And I wonder sometimes about how, if AI didn't know what an elephant looked like, how would it draw it? You know, how would AI draw an elephant if it was described as some kind of fat creature with big ears and a long nose, and it was only given those details? Color grey. But if you told it was an elephant, please do a description of, please do a painting of an elephant wearing a jumper, a blue jumper. It could do it. So this is the portrait. Now I'm having a lot of technical difficulties with the internet at the moment, and the internet will be frozen for 3 days. So this may delay my upload of this delightful portrait. Trait. Who cares? AI will correct it. Portrait of AI, there you are. You little demon. Right, this is where things get ridiculous. How does AI regurgitate this work? All these great images that are falling in through its ears. Let's have a little bit of fun here, and let's redraw our portrait. Let's draw his little boobs there, and his little claws to hang on to you, and his bottom and his legs, just for a bit of fun. I'm going to draw some other images. Well, maybe one image is enough, isn't it? Well, let's draw drawing me, drawing it. Oh, is my lovely jacket falling in the ink? Probably. And there's another image for it. And these are the images that are coming out. So I'll draw a few outlines. And as described in my... Where are all these jars coming from? Violin bridge there. Ooh. I just burnt myself on my incense. Oh dear, 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 what a day, what a day. And this is where we get disgusting. This is where we... This is where we spew out this is where he poops out his disgusting creations. Hopefully that will dry down well enough for us to kind of see. Beautiful. That's him pooping out his creations as he does, or she does, or it does. It. Let's call it it. Let's not get gender sensitive about it. And there we have this disgusting creature that is called AI, the portrait of AI. Now we need something to add to him. A colour, yellow. Where have we got yellow? Ooh, there's a nice yellow there. Oh no. And to help us feel this, I feel like yellow is a perfect color for it. It's a cowardly yellow. I can't do what you can do, so I will steal it and reproduce it. And I'm going to just find a clean finger. If I can find a clean finger. And I will yellow up the claws, and I will yellow the arm, and I will yellow the body. And the whole pregnancy of this beast, this disgusting creature known as AI. Forget his little man. His little man is also yellow. So are his butt cheeks, but I've got to be very careful there about the... So that gives us a feeling there. Now, let's get in with a little bit of my lovely grey. The grey bags under his eyes where he is constantly being asked to do things. You won't exhaust him. You won't exhaust this creature by you using him 24 hours a day. But you might exhaust yourself. Lovely. Really feeling this whole... Put a little bit of shadow onto his genital area. Or its genital area, I should say. And I'm feeling that's quite nice. It'd be nice to have a little bit of a pink of some sort. Maybe have I got a green? What is that? Empty. What is that? That looks like a red pink type color. It'd be nice to let's just test that. That's quite pinky. Okay. Slight tinge of red to its breasts and its claws. Now I'm going to run out of battery very soon, so I need to finish up. But a little bit of red around the title to show all the blood you have spilt, you demon. And that is today's drawing. The dastardly, disgusting creature of AI. Some of these jars are so tight. Its teeth needed some. Now a final touch here. I really would love to just add one jar. I'd like to add a little bit of a one green eye and one blue eye. Just to have that David Bowie feeling that I was talking about. Perfect. So I shall sign it and I will frame it. I will let you lovely people on your way. And I hope there has been some kind of lesson in today's video for you. I hope there is a lesson in here about your creativity and about your abilities. You are more than any type of computer or AI. Because you are you. And that's very, very, very special. Very special. And very powerful. Much more powerful than any computer. Because even without electricity, you can still go. Without the internet, you can still go. You can still produce. You can still create. And you can still be incredible. AI can't. Without electricity. Right, let's get a brush. Let's finish up this beast. I might have to put a little bit more ink into that poop, because the poop has gone a little bit light. And remember some of these points. Remember about who you are. And remember about how important your art is. Your originality. How important that is. It is hugely important to your own being. So enjoy yourself. Enjoy your artwork. Enjoy your being. Okay? It is very important that you retain it. It's very important. It's important for the future of the world that you are you. And I'm not sure when this will be posted up. Okay, that is the portrait of AI, the beast of art. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for just sending me your comments and telling me what do you think. Tell me what you feel about AI. Tell me what you feel about his portrait. And I will see you all again tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe. See you soon. Bye-bye.